Hello everybody. Today we are here with our high mileage hero Sylvia, and we're going to be replacing the door speaker in the rear doors. I've already replaced the ones in the front door, and I actually have a video out there from ages ago for my blue 2009 Volvo doing this. But in that video, these speakers are mounted to a mount that then mounts to the door with rivets, and I had you drill out the rivets, remove that mount so we could get to the back side and remove the speaker. Well, I found an easier way. Just yank the speaker out basically. The speaker originally has a small amount of adhesive applied to the rim of the backside of the rim, and there's little hook-shaped tabs on the back of it, and it inserts into the mount and it gets rotated to lock in under these little slots that the tabs go into. And then that adhesive dries and it's there forever. Well, you can just pry on these and break the tabs off, and you don't have to drill the rivets out or anything. You might damage the speakers that come out so that you can't reuse them, but that's fine. I don't plan to reuse them. And this is a 209,000 mile vehicle, 2009 Volvo S60. The speakers are tired, they need to be replaced. This same procedure should be about the same for any of the Volvos from this era. The S40, the S60, I don't remember if they made an S80 or not. I think they did for this year range. The XC60, the XC90, what was there, like a V70 or something, the station wagon or XC70. I forget what the nomenclature was, but any of the ones from this era, this should be similar. Let's show you what I'm going to be using to replace those speakers. Now, when you replace factory speakers and you don't include an amp or anything like that, you don't want to get too crazy. So I'm just using a simple set of Hifonics speakers. These are not expensive speakers. They are the less expensive, but they are actually really good quality. Hifonics has been around for quite a while, and I've used them for a long time, and I can tell you these do sound good. On the last video, I tried some, I can't remember what they were. I'll have to go back and look at the videos. Some that were not a name brand. They didn't sound as good in the bass. These do. You get grills with them that we don't need, but part of the reason these sound so good is they have a nice big surround area here and a long throw. When this goes in and out, it's going to create a lot of bass, and you have a very stiff cone structure here to allow that to happen. Now the rear speakers currently just have a cone, paper cone tweeter, and you're going to get crappy sound out of them. This has a piezo tweeter, two of them actually, one super small for ultra high-end crisp sounds, and just the regular one, it's going to give you a fuller, richer sound. Now it does come with wires, some screws, which I might use a couple of those in a couple of spots. I might use some shorter ones, some clips which we don't need, but they try to provide everything that you might need. You're going to need something to cut and strip wire, even if it's just a pocket knife. I'm going to use some trim removal tools on the door, because on the door, it's easy to get off. Underneath this, in your hand pocket there's a little cover you can see. You've just got to pry that off, and there's a torque screw underneath that you've got to remove. On the sides, you're going to see these. And if you look carefully, in the center is a dot. These are all the way around. That one's easier to see the dot in the center. All you do is push in on the dot. There's a little plastic pin that's going to fall back inside this thing, and then you can pull this out. It's a little round holder, and then it releases the whole door card, and then you can pull the door card off. Now back behind the door card, there's going to be a electrical connector for this, and a wire piece for this that just clips into place, and that's it. Undo those two things, lift this up off of your doodad there, and set it aside. So let's get to work. Alright, now you can use a small screwdriver to get this off, but it can mark the surface. I have trim removal tools that I got, so I'm using those. And See, it just clips right in place there. And there's our Torx bit. I can't remember what size that is. I want to say it's a T15, so I didn't go grab my Torx bit, so let me go grab that real quick and we'll find out for sure what size it is and remove that screw. Alright, this is indeed a T20, and it removes really easily. I broke it loose beforehand. There we go. I can leave the stuff inside here, or I think I'm going to remove it and set it right down the carpet inside so it doesn't go anywhere. So this is loose. Now, next thing you want to do, I can potentially use this T20, but it's a little bit big. See, I can start to push in on that dot right there. But what you really want to do is get yourself some of these screwdrivers like this, these simple screwdrivers. And I think this little tiny one right here is perfect to just push in on this. And if you push a little harder, it goes into the hole and kind of grips onto it. So I can yank the whole thing out. So see what happens, if this will focus here, is your pin separates those sections there and holds it in place. I'm just going to push that off into there. Inside this is going to be that pin. It pushes back into the hole. So be careful removing that. I have a tool here I can put up under that, start popping that out. It's hard to do one-handed. I might need a screwdriver to help me out here, or a pair of pliers, or I could just do this. There we go. Okay, now if I do this, there's the pin that's inside it, so you want to keep all of this together. So what I usually do is put the pin inside there and grab my other piece and just kind of stick it like that. Now I've got my complete assembly and I can set that aside. There's one there, one there. They're all along the bottom and a couple on the sides over there, so you're just going to go remove all of those next. So I'm going to go do that. Alrighty, I have all of these out, so this is loose. All I've got to do, I should have rolled the window down. That might have made it easier to get to the back side of this. But pick it up, and on the back side you'll see your connector there you've got to remove, and this piece. I'm going to try to do this one-handed. This piece just lifts straight out. It just pulls straight out like that. This just angles in and then clips back into place. You know, you put the top end in here and then it just clips back into place down there and then engages with that pin. This down here, there's a tab on the top. Just pull down. There we go. That's how easy it is to remove the door card. You can just set that up on top of the car. Now here's our speaker. Now, getting me a stool here to sit on. In a previous video, I had you remove these rivets around it to get this out. It's going to be a lot easier if you look, here's the speaker, this little lip right here. All you got to do is start prying this right there. If I get a sharp edge screwdriver in there. Okay, first things first, this actually is a surround that just comes out. There we go. But then you can get in here, you can see the speaker. You can just start getting in and prying it out. Careful, because you can break that too. See what I mean? But that lets you get in under the speaker. So I'm going to try to do that in such a way that you guys might be able to see some of it. I apologize for the horrible camera work, but this ain't easy to do one-handed. So if I just get along in here and follow that around, I'm breaking this, so I don't like that, but that shows you how brittle some of this stuff is and why the speaker would need to be replaced as well. And once you get the speaker started, you can just work your way around with a couple of screwdrivers or whatever and break those tabs right out. And what you end up doing, if you can see this, I break off the wires from here. Now pay attention to this. The speaker is going to be marked which side was positive, which side was negative. The positive one is on the bottom in this case, and the negative one, because this went in there like that, is on the top. When you put your speakers in, when you put your new speakers in, we're going to have to solder the wires to here, because that's where your plug goes through. Where are we at? That's where your plug goes through to these. So we're going to have to solder to those, and your new wire, your new speakers, on the back side of those, your red is plus, your black is minus. On your new cables that you've got like spade clips here that plug on over here. Red is plus, black is minus. So all I'm going to do is clip off about a 4-inch section of that, solder to the pins there, and then I can just plug this in and set it in place. Once I get it set in place, I'm going to just set this up here for a second. Notice that there's screw holes all the way around. Once I get this over here fairly close to where, you know, these tabs are there, I can mount screws. You know, there's a spot right there where there's a screw hole that lines up, but the 2-inch screws that they have in there are too long, so I need something shorter. So, you know, there's a couple of spots where the long screws will work, a couple where they weren't, so I'm just going to find what I have, or you could go buy some 1/2-inch screws to put in here and mount them. So, see, you've got a screw hole there. That should come pretty doggone close to lining up. Yep, it does actually if you turn this right. And there's another one down here, I think, and one over here. So you will actually end up with screw holes that line up for you to put new screws in. Isn't that awesome? So let me go get the soldering iron and an extension cord, because I don't have a cordless soldering iron. Wish I did, but I don't. And get some wires soldered onto there. Alrighty, I have my wires soldered in place. Positive on the bottom, negative on the top. Negative in this case is black and red, positive is red. And that does connect on the back here, and it is labeled plus and minus there, so I can confirm that is correct. I'm going to set it. Now before I also like to put a piece of tape over the area there, those two things, just so, you know, it doesn't rub up against the case of the speaker or the magnet or something. It shouldn't, but, you know, safety. I'm going to lean it up there for a bit, and one of the things you want to do before you get carried away at this point, turn the car on and make sure it produces sound. As if not, then something's wrong and you got to check to see what you did wrong. All right, we've got sound, so now it's a matter of buttoning things back up. It's nice that there's a magnet here that I can stick that out of the way. And I'm going to get a little bit of tape to put over this just to keep it protected. Probably don't have to, but I want to. Whoa. No, stay there. Not a lot of sticky on this, but there doesn't have to be. It sticks to the plastic here pretty good though. That's all I need. Okay, so I'll set this back up in here. I've got my screw hole somewhat lined up, and we're going to use everybody's favorite, the drywall screw. This is just a 6 by 3/4 inch drywall screw, and I'm going to see if that is sufficient to hold this in place. Oh, I can already tell it's going to be perfect, so let me get a couple more of those. Just like that, it's like these speakers are made to be mounted specifically in this car. It works so well. Okay, I don't want to over tighten these, just tighten them down enough to hold it in place nice. You don't want to torque it down to the point where you bend the speaker surround. But really, even with filming, this just took a few minutes. This is solid. It's not going anywhere. I could, if I really want to get crazy, put this back on here. I'm not sure exactly how it mounted on there, but I could if I really wanted to. Something like this. But I don't care. I don't want to. So back that goes. So all I've got to do now is put the door card back on, button everything back up. So let's see if I can get you set up in a spot where you can see that somewhat. That looks close enough, doesn't it? So take our door card, clip in that. Make sure this goes over. There we go. It kind of hooks on this top up here. Hook that in place. Take a couple of these, just so we got something to hold it in place there. Pop this, take this bottom piece, pop it in first, and then this top piece, and then you have a hole there that you put your pin in, and it holds it in place. And that hole, that pin, is going to be hard to put in, harder than you'd think it ought to be. So take the bottom of a screwdriver and push it flat. So that's back in. We're going to take our T20, put that back in, nice and tight. My soldering iron is resting on my wrench. Just make sure that's snug. Put my vanity cover back on. And then I've got to do the rest of these, and we're done. That's it. So I'm going to go do the other side, and then we'll check it out and see how it sounds. All right, all done. I'll close the door so it stops chiming at me. I timed myself on that door over there, and with everything in place, all my tools there ready to go, me sitting on a bucket, and I had a piece of cardboard on the ground to protect my knees because I'm on the driveway and concrete that hurts. Took me 17 minutes to completely remove the door card, remove the speaker, solder in the new wires, test it, mount the speaker, put everything back in place. And then it took me about another 15 minutes just to clean up after myself. So your prep work and your cleanup work is going to take you probably as long as or longer than it's going to take to swap out these speakers. Under an hour. That's all it's going to take. Easy to do, and the new speakers sound fantastic. Those Hifonics speakers really, really do good in this car as factory replacements. They're factory plus, I'll say. Super easy job to do. Hope you guys got something out of it. If you have questions, ask me, and we'll talk to you later. By the way, just one little add-on here. If you're looking for a little extra bass, by the way, these Hifonics speakers deliver. You remember when I showed you the hard cone on that? The old cones, the old speakers, are paper. And that paper over time and billions of cycles of vibrations gets weak and doesn't really push solidly as it used to. This polypropylene cone, the plastic cone on there, is rigid. It will not bend. It will not deform. And the level of bass that you get with replacing these things is insane for the price. These speakers are like 30 bucks a set or something like that. So for 60 bucks or less, the difference in bass is phenomenal. You will not regret it. Definitely worth, if you want to upgrade your stereo system to twice what it was before in one of these Volvos, those speakers alone, front and rear, if you have the, front and, the 4-door, they do make a 2-door variant of this, like a C30 or something like that a convertible or something. But for the 4-door one, if you replace all 4 speakers, massive difference, by the way. Just wanted to add that in for you. I know we all love that bass. It's all about the bass. And this delivers. These speakers deliver. So just wanted to add that in real quick. I've been sitting here in the driveway just listening to them and enjoying it. And it's so much better. So I had to let you guys know. See ya.